Hi, this is Pam Jungi and John Amatucci coming to you live from Las Vegas for another episode of eXp Explained.
eXp is a cloud-based licensed brokerage for processing real estate transactions. Now, brokers and independent agents all over the world are using their platform to build new businesses, scale existing businesses, save money, transfer risk, build wealth, and remain relevant.
Amen. And eXp World, the parent company, is publicly traded on the NASDAQ and the growth is exponential. The company's 2009 beginnings were humble at best. CEO Glenn Sanford was an accomplished agent at Keller Williams, running several teams across the nation when the crash of '08 changed everything. This led Glenn to scale back, take a hard look at the entire real estate brokerage model. Glenn ultimately decided to create eXp Realty to serve as the Amazon of real estate brokerages, and he's doing it.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of eXp Explained, eXp live from Las Vegas, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to hear future podcasts.
Click it.
Pam and Johnny.
Pam and Johnny live from Las Vegas.
Hey everyone, welcome back to eXp Live from Las Vegas, episode numero 5, right?
Yeah.
Ironic, the day after Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
How we're doing podcast.
It's pretty much how we roll, though. We're kind of like a day late all the
That's
time. Right? A day late,
a day
$1
late, $1 short. And in case you're wondering what's going on over here, because we have a special guest today, and this is going to be a new segment that we're going to be introducing to eXp Live from Las Vegas, and we are very, very excited to have one of eXp Synergy's top, I don't want to say top agent because I think it's beyond that, but we're just blessed to have a great group with Synergy, and we'd like to introduce this guy in the middle over here. His name is Dave Reichert.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here. Honored to be on your show.
No, awesome.
And
Thanks
number
for
5,
joining
that
us.
is awesome. You guys
Right?
know that
Dave's
that's
lucky
my
number.
favorite number. Yeah.
I hear 5's your favorite number.
Absolutely.
I think we'll have to go to the casino afterwards and bet every 5 horse in every race.
I'm down. 5 horse in the 5th is the magic one, right?
There we go, 5 in the 5th.
Personally, I bet by their names.
Yes.
I'm that girl.
Well, that's better than picking, that one's got polka dots. I'll go with that one.
Come on, Bubble! Come on, Bubble! Come on! Coming first. So let's get started, Pam. Let's talk about, we had some big news today from eXp. eXp came out with their earnings today.
Everybody's been waiting with bated breath for those Q1 numbers, and eXp did not disappoint.
No, they blew the numbers out the water. Revenue, it was a record quarter in terms of revenue and gross profit margin, as well as recruitment of new agents, or I don't know if recruitment is the right word. What word should we use other than recruitment? Well, I guess it is. It's new agent acquisition.
Hey, listen, everybody recruits.
Everybody.
Listen,
Right.
Keller Williams recruits. If you own a real estate company and you're not recruiting, you're doing something wrong.
Exactly.
Right.
So I don't think it's a
Yeah.
bad word.
That's
No,
true.
I agree.
You know?
And the move away from it seems disingenuous, right?
It- absolutely.
Attracting and all these other words that get used. It's like, no, we're recruiting to bring agents to a great company.
Right. So
There's-
the R word is okay.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
so. Let's take the stigma away, okay?
It started here,
call it
right
what-
here. Episode 5.
It usually does. So revenue was up 115% in the quarter. Gross profit margin was up 91%. We have up more than doubled our agents year over year, quarter over year quarter. So we're up over 50,000 agents right now in eXp.
Right.
So-
And I mean, just to think, you've got a company that's just over a decade old, and they're putting out these kinds of numbers. Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So
And
we are the pioneers.
we are.
Yes.
And once again, to reiterate, one of the few publicly held real estate companies that actually makes money.
Hello.
Imagine that.
Go figure.
Imagine that.
You know, and I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but I love one of their philosophies. You know, when Glenn Sanford founded eXp, he decided that he wanted to keep 50% of the profits to put them back into the company and continue growth.
Right.
Go figure.
Right.
And then the other 50% of the profits he puts back into the agent's pockets as a better way of doing business. I mean, what a concept, you know what I mean? So he's been pretty successful with 50% of the profits to keep it rolling like
Right,
this.
right.
Absolutely.
And it's just when a company treats their employees right, their employees treat their customers right.
Yeah.
So it's a
very
spillover
flow.
effect, and it's a great time to be with eXp. It's a great time to be in the real estate industry, and it's a great time to have the guy in between us.
I was just going to say, and it's a great time to have Dave Reichert here because, honestly, it's like you hear from us, you hear from other people. However, we really want to give you some outside flavor of like what works for other people in eXp. eXp is a very complex company, right? I think it's impossible for one human being to plug themselves into this company and actually be able to use every single resource that comes their way. It's not possible. You can't. The resources are overwhelming, right? So, everybody's a little different. Everybody's business is a little different. So we're going to highlight some really incredible, successful agents and let them share with you what works for them. So, Dave, I know that you are with the esteemed DeRaffaelli Group.
Yes, ma'am.
Joe D is one of my favorite people on the planet.
And one of the smartest guys on the planet, too. Wow. Holy cow, does that guy know? So.
Exactly. This is why we have aligned ourselves with some pretty smart people and received the benefits of them, I would say, for sure.
No question.
So when did you start in the business?
So, I started a month ago. I'm really looking forward to closing my first deal. I'm super excited. I've called all my friends. No, actually.
Ma, I know you love that house, but I think it's time.
Mom, it's time to sell.
Exactly. And ironically, I started the business with my mom's title company in Florida. That was my first job. I was a runner for a title company.
Right.
We actually had to take the paper deeds from the title company, bring them down to the county, and this is not new. This has been here a minute. And you sat across the desk from the person who actually stamped them and recorded them into the microfiche of the county.
I so remember those days.
Oh my gosh, right? So then, but in this iteration of my real estate career, I started in 2004 as a lender, and right on that refi upswing, so I had a good first year or two, and then boom, lights out, right?
Implosion.
Right? And then in between that time, I met and married my beautiful wife, who introduced me to Joe. And that was probably the single most amazing introduction of my career, is to meet and lock horns with a guy like him. Right. And to have him teaching you the business is just really been a cornerstone. Him and his wife Shannon, a cornerstone for my success in the business. But so 6 years on this side of the desk, though, doing contracts for real estate.
Does your wife remind you every day that thanks to her you've had this newfound success in the real estate industry?
Nah, she's pretty cool about it. She's super cool on her own, so she's not reminding me of anything. Just her being in the room reminds me. I'm a pretty fortunate guy.
Lucky you are.
I'm a pretty fortunate guy, no question.
How lucky you are, said like a true gentleman. So when did you join eXp? What made you make the move?
So this coming May will be 2 years at eXp. And what made me make the move? Joe obviously was Pinnacle in that decision, but I didn't go right with him. And that was the only time that I didn't go right with him. And it was because I didn't get it. It didn't ring true to me, and it has to make sense for me to do something like that because, me, I always put my issues on everything I'm doing. People are you're jumping ship, you're moving around, you're unstable. But then I looked at eXp as a whole and thought, this is ridiculous. I am out of here. The tools that are available to you, the incredible people that are involved. I started seeing, some of the meetings that Joe had with the agents that he was having them with, and I'm like, what are you doing, you doof? Go. This is the place. This is where you need to be. So he was a good piece of why I left. But then when you peel the onion of eXp, there are so many different layers. There's so many tools you can use. And then specifically, one of the really pushing me over the edge was the Synergy community. And the quality of the agents involved and the leadership, the sync leadership layer, it's the cream of the crop. I mean, you have everything you could ask for in one neat little box, as well as all of the killer back end of eXp.
Right.
Something you said just intrigued me though. What didn't you get about it when Joe first approached you or told you about it? Because I think that could be common with a lot of agents that maybe, I think that's probably the first question for a lot of agents that are either thinking about joining eXp or have been approached about joining eXp. So what didn't you get initially?
So what I didn't understand was the whole structure of compensation. And I thought, going back into such a heavy split, I don't want that. But then once you see the entirety of what happens with that 20%, and then the best part is you can earn it all back with production.
Right.
You can get every cent that you gave out back. And that was it. Once I figured out and realized that that's the case, why wouldn't I? Because I get all A, B, and C, and then I get D as well. So
Exactly, which is considered icon status.
correct.
Yep.
Exactly.
Meet your cap, do a couple more transactions, icon status, receive it all back in the form of stock.
Exactly.
Pretty cool. Deal.
Sign me up. Yeah, sign me up.
Exactly.
Another thing, just since we're talking about that, the whole stock piece, right? So in the beginning of my career, I was paying last year's taxes with this year's commissions, right? And that's something I know a lot of you agents who are watching this,
Yep.
guilty. So, but again, great tutelage. I got out of that habit, but then, okay, so I'm taking care of business here, but am I really setting myself up for retirement? Because there's really not a retirement piece to real estate unless, of course, you're investing and you're holding and collecting rents.
Right.
You can use the stock that you purchase as part of that income when you decide to retire, and then your net worth is growing as well as your skills and taking care of customers. So
Absolutely.
It's a great point.
So smart. I mean, how many realtors out there actually have a retirement plan to speak of?
Yeah.
Honestly, and there is a huge difference. We've talked about it before between profit share and revenue share. So do not confuse the two. Revenue share is entirely different than profit share. Profits can be manipulated, revenue cannot.
correct.
So it's a very clean number.
Absolutely
You know what I
right.
mean? Yeah.
Absolutely right.
And I think I don't know if stigma is the right term, but there are so many agents when they get into the industry, they don't realize that there are other opportunities to have other sources of income, and they're thinking, okay, today is if I don't kill something today, I'm not eating tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But at eXp, it's a little bit beyond that, because you're not only you're digging up the crops that you planted yesterday, but you're also planting the seeds for tomorrow. And a lot of other agencies, I don't think they offer their agents that kind of opportunity.
Would you say that your career has been more successful since joining eXp? Has it elevated?
Oh, absolutely, hands down, for certain. And the tools are what made that so, right? The people
Nice.
are part of it, but the tools are also what made that so. I heard this great quote. They don't know why contacts aren't spelled with a $sign at the end, right? So the people in your database. I was letting those fine folks just kind of sit out there by themselves and not touching them. And then get into eXp, KB Core is this robust CRM, put everybody in there. Now they hear from me ad nauseum almost, right? I mean, I'm sending them stuff all the time, monthly market update, and those type of things just keep you top of mind. And then they're calling, hey, by the way, I know so-and-so is talking about selling their house. So absolutely, eXp contributed to the growth of my business. No
Amazing.
question.
What are the tools now, other than KV Core? What other tools do you utilize on a daily basis that are just a huge help in your career?
So KV Core is one. That's my main one, right? And to Pam's point, there are so many things in the toolbox. You're like, I don't even know what that tool does. Remind is another one because it gives you such in-depth property information, and we deal a lot in databases, right? So Remind, actually, you grab that contact, and then it pulls up such a more in-depth property profile that's helped you have more intelligent conversations with potential sellers and buyers. So Remind's one, and then the other one was Making It Rain. So that's just kind of, it's a little more sifting through,
Which is also part of KB Core, right?
correct. It's
Okay.
it's a lead
add-on.
generation. Yeah, exactly.
An add-on to KB Core.
Right.
Awesome, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we love your success, and we know that you're super intelligent at what you do, and you're an industry leader. So what we did was we reached out and we gathered some questions that people, just burning questions that people are just dying to have you answer.
Great.
So I'll let John
Come with the
throw
first
out
one.
the first
Oh,
one.
he's got cards. Hold on a second.
We're very amped up because we've been getting a great response from people.
Yeah.
So let me just throw out the first question
Sure.
for you. Steve G from Pahrump says, or asks, I should say, writes, what is the most undervalued area in Las Vegas right now?
That's actually a great question because there is so much in the media about how things are, prices are inflated and not really. In my opinion, your dollar goes the farthest in the Northwest, right? So there's a lot of land that's up there developing. It used to be a tie between the Southwest and the Northwest, but right now the Southwest has so much heat on it right now. Undervalued. I call it as a value, right? You can get much more house. In fact, I'm going to do a video on what, the median price was $365, what that gets you in the South, the East, the West, and the North. So,
I love it.
yeah, so the Northwest for sure is still, the Centennial Hills moving up to Tule Springs, out by Sky Canyon, that area.
Okay. Next question. Joseph D. from Las Vegas writes, how does a legit rock and roll drummer and being a world-ranked karate badass help in your real estate career? It's a two-part question, by the way. That's part
So
one.
first, let's do part number one.
Actually, it's a three-part
How
question.
does being a legit rock and roll drummer support your real estate career?
Oh my God. I think I just figured out who that guy is.
Joseph D.
Yeah,
From Las
Joseph
Vegas.
D.
I threw you off by putting the Seth in
Yeah,
there.
that's funny.
Hey, listen, we're not just about real estate around here. We
God.
just threw him a little zinger.
Yeah, no,
because
that's-
Joe D actually gave us a little bit of inside intel on Dave.
For
We
sure.
had to do a little digging.
Ironically enough, I was a super shy kid, super shy, real awkward, and about first part of high school, I discovered my older brother was a drummer. I wanted to just emulate this guy who's really good in school and really good in sports, and then he started playing drums. I'm like, wow, I'm better than him at that. So I got better at drumming. But what it did was pull me out of my shell. It was the first thing that I was.
And get you a bunch of girls, I'm assuming, too, as well, right? Let's be honest with each other. What's the real reason
Yeah,
why
we've
men
been talking
become
about
musicians?
reasons 2 and above. Reason 1.
To get chicks.
Yeah, I said I was
As any
awkward and
teenage
shy,
boy
right? Yeah. But for sure, it definitely pulled me out of my shell, and it also kind of proved to me that it's okay to be confident in yourself
Right.
and not be cocky, right? So that's how the drumming came in.
Who's your favorite drummer, by the way? Biggest influence?
He just departed us, Neil Peart
Neil
from
Peart,
the
one of my
from the band
favorites.
Rush. Yeah,
Saw Rush in concert many a times. Yeah, best
Oh,
concert
for
I've
sure.
ever seen was
Absolutely.
Rush back in. I was about 14 years old, so I won't tell you what year, but it was at the Palladium in New York City. But yeah, one of my favorites as well. Who's your second favorite drummer?
So actually, let's see, who is my second favorite drummer? I kind of vacillate. There's this guy who plays music that you would never think that I would, and his name escapes me right now because it's 53, right? Or 52, almost 53. I don't even know how old I am, much less this guy's name. But I think Stuart Copeland was another really good, versatile drummer that played rock, but he infused so much reggae and jazz fusion, and that's kind of the approach that I took, because you can play like one style of drumming, but if you incorporate other styles into that style, you can kind of create your own voice.
Great point. Another one of my favorites, and one of his biggest influences was Neil Peart as well, Stuart Copeland. And yeah, not to get off on a tangent, but you always know a police song. Anytime you hear it.
Yeah,
you just
absolutely
know it.
right. Yeah.
So then tell us about the
Karate Kid.
Yeah, the Karate Kid.
The Karate Kid.
So
Real estate on, real estate off.
yeah, right. off accepted.
Over appraisal on, over appraisal off.
There you go.
Okay.
So another long story, apologies. My boys, so they were like just total white hot energy, bang, 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 bouncing off the wall. And my wife actually saw Michelle saw a sign for Karate for Kids, and I, as a kid, always wanted to go into karate, but my parents were of the mindset, that's the expensive sport, play baseball. I'm like, all right, because baseball, you got a mitt, a bat, a ball, and then that's it, right? Karate's
That
like...
is not my experience of baseball. Thank you.
As a
Bunch of
baseball
junkies.
mom,
Yeah.
family,
I
disagree with
literally
you.
paid for your college throughout junior high and high school, and then college too.
Club team,
Fun.
right?
Club team,
yeah,
travel
club ball,
ball,
yeah.
scout ball, whole different world.
Well, clearly someone's a lot more skilled than I was, because there was none of that. I don't think I wore my hat straight. Anyway, my boys were kind of all over the place, and then we brought them to Victory Martial Arts, and they have a program. What they have is the biggest fish hook in the industry, and they make your spastic, well-intended, crazy kids stand at attention and be quiet for like 10 seconds. I couldn't get my checkbook out of my pocket fast enough. I'm like, we're in, do that again. And so as they were moving through their belts, I just remembered back when I was a kid, I was like, man, I really wanted to be in karate. So I asked the instructors, I'm like, would it take away from their experience if I hopped on the mat? And they're like, absolutely not, it'll probably add to it. Fast forward 6 years later, they don't do it anymore, and I'm competing. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So
Good for you.
yeah, thanks.
I had a
love
very
it.
similar but very different experience. So I put my son and my nephew in Kochi Calicar when they were little for the same reason.
Right.
Like, you get all of that energy out of them because it's not working for me, sensei.
For sure.
And then I was like intrigued by the whole thing, just like you. And I was like, I think you need to do a class for the moms. Why are we all sitting on a bench on the side waiting for our kids to get done? Like, let's go,
Amen.
right?
Right.
And so he put me in there. I think I passed out twice.
Oh yeah, the room starts to close in. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
The cardio is intense.
I just remember, what is it? Baby protector, baby protector, baby protector, Mama P, baby protector. Wham! And I'm on the floor.
Oh my God.
I'll lift weights all day long. Don't put me on a karate mat.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's fun. And it's my primary source of exercise when I'm not, coaching. But I just love it.
And it's fun to talk about that too, because we talk on my team a lot about being a well-rounded human being, because I could stand here and I could coach about real estate all day long, but I really care that everybody's also paying attention to the other sides of their life, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because if your health isn't great, how are we going to actually serve our clients to the best of our degree?
And isn't that where it starts, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you wake up tired, or if you wake up not happy because you have to go to work at a different company, I don't know.
That doesn't happen over here. Yeah.
I don't know. I wake up excited.
Wow,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
I look at my dashboard every morning, first thing when I wake up. It's exciting. I have this dashboard within eXp Enterprise, and I get to see exactly where my business is at, where my dollars are at, where they're coming from, where I need to increase my pipeline.
Right.
It's exciting.
It is, and that's true. It all does tie together, because the not shy side, the martial arts side, and the way it all ties into eXp is when I came over to eXp. And not to say that all real estate's contentious, but at the end of the day, it's a negotiation between two parties, right? You don't get that vibe at eXp. It's very collaborative. Everybody's working and swimming toward the same goal. Happy customers, happy agents. Brett Go's got the tagline, making real estate fun again.
Yes.
And it's like, again, no, it made real estate fun. It used to be pretty much martial arts. You're like, I'm going to get you, right? But now it's more like, okay, how do we work together to make this happen?
Right.
And that was another giant piece to the move over to eXp, was the collaborative side of it. Everybody, literally, word synergy is absolutely perfect for our group.
For example, we were on a Zoom call last night sharing nuggets with one another about the market. And it was funny because when Cody Lewis asked me, like, what made you sell your real estate firm and join a cloud brokerage? Like, why did you do that? And I said, are you kidding me? I said, to be in a position where I could collaborate with the minds like Cody Lewis and Joe DeRaffaelli and Denise Klein and all these other amazing individuals who are actually willing to collaborate and share ideas. We were giving each other tools last night on how to be better in this market and educating each other. And it was just, the results were off the charts. Everybody walked away from that meeting with something that's going to make their business better. And we're all cheering for one another out there on the streets versus trying to cut the other one down.
Exactly.
It's like being in a super group, in a band, in a super group, and everybody's lifting each other. Everybody is inviting other musicians on the stage to perform with them as well and add their own dynamic to it. So Synergy Group is phenomenal, especially from a kid like me who's new to the business. It's a huge help.
Absolutely. Yeah, the WhatsApp string this morning, I was just going, everybody, all right.
So
okay.
Joe D did have one more question. I'm sorry, Joseph D from Las Vegas had one more question.
Yes.
Dave, will you be picking up the check next time we go to dinner? Because apparently, short arms, I don't know. No, I usually have to use the restroom right as the check comes. It's a move I perfected in my salad days as a young musician with no money in his pocket. That reminds me, me and my buddies would drive when we were kids, from New York down to Florida, and I would fall asleep at every toll just so I didn't have to.
It's amazing. Narcoleptic much?
Yeah, right. Oh.
So I think, thanks so much for sharing all your insight and your fun. We absolutely love you. Love having you on. If you could leave everybody with like one nugget about eXp Realty, what would it be?
One. Okay, so what would one nugget be? If someone's talking to you, and so for agents, I'm going to speak straight to agents right now. Good. If someone's talking to you about eXp and you kind of your back gets tight, you're like, ugh, you've not been explained the eXp model correctly. Find someone else to talk to about eXp. And because bringing people in, recruiting, attracting, it's not easy, right? Everybody has their version of what makes eXp special to them. and it doesn't really make any connections with you. So you just may not be having it explained to you correctly. So if I could leave them with one thing, it's just if you get angry when someone's calling you to join eXp, okay, don't talk to them, find one of us and let us tell you about it, because there's no way that people who do as much business as Pam, Jody, and the rest, and how much he's going to be doing very soon, are here because it's such a terrible place to be. I mean, 50,000 agents in that part of time, 8 countries in the world. Are you kidding me? Is it 9 now? I think it's either 8 or 9 countries. I mean, it's growing so fast, can't keep track. But if there was one thing, that would be it for sure.
I love that.
Awesome.
I mean, literally, we could just do mic drop. I'm not going to do it.
We just tie, as Joe D
Not
would
going
say,
to
we
do it.
tied a ribbon, a bow around.
Tie it in a bow.
Thank you.
Tie it in a bow.
Tie it in a bow.
Episode 5 done. Thank you, John. Thank you,
Dave.
Dave.
Thanks for having me.
Great having you
So
here.
much
I
fun
loved it.
today.
Absolutely.
Are we
you
going to
enjoyed
close
it.
them with the jokes?
I got one.
Go ahead.
So a guy walks into a doctor's office with a frog on his head, and the doctor goes, "Wow, when did that start?" Frog goes, "I don't know. It started as a bump on my ass."
And now we're done.
And on that note,
Are you allowed to swear on your podcast?
Yeah.